I'm Steve Cannon, and I have adapted a chapter from Dracula the novel, chapter 2, and I have created a poem based on that chapter. And this is part 1 of chapter 2, and my interpretation is pretty straightforward from the text. On the 5th of May, I approached the place. Massive as it was, I had not yet seen it by light of day. The driver assisted me from the carriage. His strength amazed me. Before me stood a great door, masked by massive stones worn away by time and weather. As the driver disappeared down the dark path, I stood in silence, unsure what to do next. No sign of bell or knocker. Was this the right place? As a full-blown solicitor, I expected some sort of greetings or reassurance. Was I even awake? A pinch of the flesh reassured me to the fact that I was indeed. Then I heard from within life, heavy steps, rattling chains, the clanking of massive bolts, the turn of a key. Then the great doors swung open. Before me stood a colorless figure of a man, tall, old, clean-shaven, less for a long white mustache, holding an antique silver lamp which burned without chimney or globe of any kind, throwing quivering shadows on the door. He welcomed me in. Welcome to my house. Enter freely and of your own will. Making no motion to meet me, he stood like a statue. But once inside, he grasped my hand with an astonishing strength, yet they were cold as ice. Welcome to my house. Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. His handshake was noticeably similar to the driver's. Uncertain, I questioned, Count Dracula? He retorted, I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come in, the night air is chill, and you must need to eat and rest. Trying to protest further, he insisted, Nay, sir, you are my guest. It is late, and my people are not available. Let me see to your comfort myself. Escorting me through the innards of the castle, he presented a well-lit room with supper prepared. Further across the way, he opened another door, a great bedroom well lit with the fireplace ablaze. With encouragement to freshen up and eat my meal, a weight was lifted as my doubts and fears subsided. Hungry, I made my way to the table, and Dracula forego joining me, as he said he had assured me that he had already eaten. But I have dined already, and I do not sup. Handing him the letter from Mr. Hawkins, the Count read it aloud. I am happy to say I can send a sufficient substitute, one in which I have every possible confidence. This gave me a thrill of pleasure as the Count proceeded to serve me. Roasted chicken, cheese, salad, and wine sustained me as the Count asked about the journey I had taken. Afterwards, he offered a place by the fire and a cigar, of which he did not partake. Now I could take in his countenance, strong face, high bridge, thin nose, arched nostrils, lofty domed forehead, hair growing scantily around the temples, but profusely elsewhere. Massive eyebrows meeting over the nose, bushy hair curling in its own profusion, the partially hidden mouth under the mustache, fixed and cruel looking. Sharp teeth protruding over the lips, ears pale and pointed, chin broad and strong, cheeks firm though thin. Hands appearing white and fine hitherto, but now by firelight, coarse, broad with squat fingers, nails long and fine, cut to a fine point. As he touched me, I felt a shudder. Perhaps his rank breath leveled me as a feeling of nausea took hold. Sensing this, the Count drew back, revealing more of his protuberant teeth. Through the window, I saw the first dim streaks of the coming day. Below us in the valley came the howling of wolves. The Count chimed in. Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make! Seeing the tiredness in my eyes, he bid me good night. As I entered my bedroom, I am all in a sea of wonders. I doubt. I fear. I think strange things which I dare not confess to my own soul. God keep me, if only for the sake of those dear to me. 7th of May. On the 7th of May, I had rested until late of day. In the next room, I found breakfast and coffee. A note that was left read, "I have to be absent for a while. Do not wait for me. D." I dined, and afterwards saw no bell or servant to let know I had finished. Noticing the odd deficiencies in the house, there were signs of immense wealth, golden table service, curtains, chairs, and sofas of the costliest and most beautiful fabric. Yet nowhere did I find a mirror. Alas, no signs of a servant, and the only sound near the castle, the howling of wolves. Having finished my meal, I looked for something to read, for I could not wander the halls without permission. I found nothing in my room. But through another door, I found a library of sorts. Various topics abounded in the pages: history, geography, botany, law, and such. As I paged through, the Count made his appearance. Having been glad I happened upon his collection, I complimented him on his use of the English language. "Not so," he said. "Well, I know that I move and speak in your London." He would be seen as a stranger, he continued, for here he was a noble. He spoke of Peter Hawkins, who had sent me to speak of his new estate in London. He wished that I might help him with the nuances of the English language. He bade me that I may go where I liked within the castle walls. Open doors would welcome me. Locked ones I should beware. We are in Transylvania, and Transylvania is not England. Our ways are not yours, and there shall be to you many strange things. I asked of a blue flame that appeared above the head of the coachman. He alluded to the fact that it was spirits making themselves known on that given night. He spoke of hidden treasure, battlegrounds, and hordes of Austrians and Hungarians. I questioned where the remnants might be. He could not say. Our conversation drifted into other matters, finally leading to discussion of the house in London that had been procured for the Count. The estate was called Carfax, surrounded by a high wall of ancient structure, built of heavy stone in need of repair, closed gates, heavy iron and oak, eaten by rust. 20 acres surrounded by the wall, deep dark ponds or lakes, a gloomy setting. The house, large, medieval structure, immensely thick stone, few windows high up and barred, close to an old chapel, few houses close by. Additionally, a private lunatic asylum. The Count appreciated my revelations of his new estate, big and old, chapel of olden times, the broken battlements and casements. He remarked, "I love the shade and the shadow, and would be alone within my thoughts when I may." Upon his exit, I examined the books further. Upon his return, he was gladdened to see that I was engrossed there, as he bid me it was time for supper. The Count excused himself for dining as he had already eaten. We chatted as I ate, then smoked and rattled on hour after hour, subject after subject, until, suddenly, there came the crow of a cock. We had chatted through the entirety of the night. The Count was remiss in that he had kept me up all night, and with a quick bow, he was gone. Off to my room, drew the curtains, warm gray sky appearing, a day written off. 8th of May. On the 8th of May, I wrote in this book that I was only getting too diffuse, but overall glad I had gone into detail because of the sheer strangeness of this place. If only I had someone to speak with about it, but alas, there is only the Count. I fear I am the only living soul within the walls. I had slept only a few hours, but felt compelled to get up. Then, as I began to shave, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Good morning. Noticing no reflection of the Count in my mirror, everything behind me was displayed, except for him. Having cut myself with my blade, the Count made a grab for my throat in a fury. I drew away as his hand touched the string of beads which held the crucifix. He changed in an instant. Take care how you cut yourself. It is more dangerous than you think in this country. He then discarded the mirror as an object of man's vanity. He flung it out the window, where it shattered in 1,000 pieces on the courtyard far below. He then disappeared once again. Upon entering the dining room, I found breakfast prepared, but no Count. Strange as I had never seen him eat or drink, a very peculiar man indeed. After breakfast, I decided to explore the castle. Having found a room that looked towards the south, the castle sat on a very terrible precipice. As far as the eye can see, sea of green-topped trees, occasional deep rift where there is a chasm, silver threads of rivers winding in deep gorges through the forest. Further in the castle, doors, 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 locked and bolted. No place save for the windows is an exit. The castle is a prison. My prison.